so much about Indian Evidence Act. So they will be knowing about so much about relevancy and admissibility. Moreover, when you are into college, Indian Evidence Act, IPC, CRPC are the subjects which are very close to everyone's heart. But we will approach this subject a little differently, in a very different manner. Uh, so let everyone come. First of all, we started. So let's before getting into let other people come. Till then, we have to do something. Let me start with some basic concepts that you must know. Uh, there are two basic concepts that in Indian Evidence Act, when you study Indian Evidence Act, there are two basic concepts that is known as relevancy and advocacy. Relevancy and admissibility. Whole Evidence Act revolve around this two concepts, and we generally understand these two concepts are very synonymous to each other. So sometimes even a few people tell you they are nothing but they are the two faces of the same coin, or I will few people call it as synonym. Though these terms, relevancy and admissibility, seems to be synonym to each other, but first thing we should keep in mind, they are not synonym. Neither they are synonym, neither they are opponent to each other, neither they are the part of same coin. Rather, they are the two different stages of evidence. These are the two different stages of evidence. Before getting into this relevancy and admissibility, one thing you should make it clear in your mind, that evidence, the concept of relevancy and concept of admissibility both have a different approach. Let us pick up with the simplest form of approach. Let us pick up with relevancy. What do you mean by relevancy? Before getting into the concept of relevancy, there is this, two concept. Here I will say there are three terms which we should know, that are fact, fact and issue, and a relevant fact. There are three terms in Indian Evidence Act which we should know before getting into relevancy. One is fact, another is fact and issue, and another is relevant fact. These all three terms have been defined in Indian Evidence Act very well, but we will not go into definition part. We will understand basic orientation. Anything which exists into the universe, anything, whatever you see, whatever you smell, you touch, anything which can be perceived by senses or any senses, whether conscious or subconscious, they will be considered as facts. Try to understand. What do you mean by fact? General term. We are not going into the definition part. General term. I am talking to you is a fact. You are listening to me is a fact. This laptop is working, facts. Your laptop is emitting a light, fact. This screen is seen by your eyes, it's a fact. So all is this fact. When this fact become a question to be decided, or I will say when a particular fact become disputed, when any particular fact become disputed, when I say disputed, for example, uh, whether I am teaching, whether I took class at 4 to 5, whether there was a webinar at 4 and 5, the question of whether, where existence of any fact is being disputed, the disputed existence of a fact is known as fact and issue. So whenever the existence of a particular fact becomes disputed, then it will be considered as fact and issue. Fact and issue. So two things you must understand. What do you mean by fact? This is general. There is a very good and a broad definition in the Indian Evidence Act, but today's lecture is concerned with relevancy. So I want to come to the topic of relevancy. But before getting into the topic of relevancy, I must explain what do you mean by fact. So generally, anything which is existing in the universe around you is a fact. You're watching TV, you're talking, you're smelling something, it's a fact. Then When this particular fact, which is existing in front of you in a physical format or in a conscious mind, become disputed, questionable, whether there was a foul smell or not, whether the screen was playing or not, whether the movie was coming or not, this question of dispute is known as fact and issue. Right? So when facts become disputed, it is termed as fact and issue. However, this fact and issue, how you will prove? How you will prove whether the class was taken or not? Whether there was a class at 4 to 5 or not? Whether there was a webinar or not? Whether teacher was discussing things or not? How you will do all this? You prove this by certain fact. By certain fact, you prove fact and issue. The certain fact by which you prove fact and issue is known as a relevant fact. So basically, relevant facts are those facts which may prove the disputed fact or may disprove the disputed fact. For example, I can give evidence that I have recorded the video from 4 to 5 on such date. This is a relevant fact to prove the disputed fact that yes, there was a webinar on this date. Right? So relevant facts are those facts which prove the existence or non-existence of disputed fact. So एक चीज हमको समझ में आया. One thing we have clear what is fact. Another we have clear that is what is fact and issue. And third we are clear what is relevant fact. These three terms are clear. So generally when I am seeing something, generally it is a fact. When in this general things, some particular fact. So suppose there are fact, so many facts, fact 1, fact 2, fact 3, fact 4, fact 5, and so many facts are existing in a universe. Out of this, these two facts came in question, become disputed, they become fact and issue. So out of the existing fact, whatever become disputed, it is known as fact and issue. And how you will prove that fact in issue? How you will prove this fact? The facts which support or refute or which prove the existence or non-existence of fact and issue are known as relevant. The manner. Now question is this. The manner through which a fact is able to prove the fact and issue or relevant fact. The manner to prove or disprove. Prove or disprove a relevant fact. The manner of proving or disproving of relevant fact is known as relevancy. Try to understand. So what is a relevancy? Relevancy is a subjective concept. It is a mechanism. So basically, relevancy is a process through which you will prove or disprove the relevant, the fact and issue. So when I say the fact and issue, and suppose I say fact and issue and relevant fact are connected. This connection of fact and issue and relevant fact, this bond of fact and issue and relevant fact is known as relevancy. I'm trying to make you understand the meaning of the term. I'm not make you understand what you mean by relevancy. I'm just focusing upon the terminology meaning. What do you mean by terminology of the word relevancy? So hopefully you understand. Any question, you can ask me any question. If any question is arising in your mind in between, feel free to ask. Because this is very important and very crucial topic. In order to understand the Indian Evidence Act, you must know this basic concept. If you are aware about this basic concept, you know everything, right? So let us go to relevancy. So let us pick up the example. I will try to find out what I mean to. So relevancy is a mechanism, it's a mechanism through which particular fact is connected to facting issue. Right. Any mechanism, any process by which it is connected to facting issue, it will be considered as relevancy. Now try to understand this relevancy. This relevancy can be of two types. This connection, this bond of fact and issue and relevant fact, यानी कि वो रास्ता जिस रास्ते से relevant fact and issue prove करेगा, the process through which fact and issue will be proved or disproved by the relevant fact is known as relevancy, and this process goes through two medium. There are two medium through which they are connected. One is known as logical and another is known as legal. There are two processes. One is known as logical relevancy and another is known as legal relevancy, right? What do you mean by logical relevancy? Anything which is connected with human logic. What is logical relevancy? A relevancy which is connected to human logic. When I say human logic, try to understand. What do you mean by human logics? Logical relevancy को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. What do you mean by human logics? For example, A found dead. Blood coming out of head. This is A is lying dead and blood is coming out of the head. What is the logical relevancy? That somebody hit this head. Logical relevancy. Logical connection. That A is hit on head. Somebody has hit A's head. This is logical relevancy. So when I say, when there is to suppose the question is how A is dead, enough. So fact and issue is death of A. It is a death of A. If fact and issue is death of A, that is A's death is disputed, and there is a relevant fact that head is being injured, blood is coming out of the head. So you apply a logical relevancy. Somebody has hit the head of A. This is known as logical relevancy. Whereas, what do you mean by legal relevancy? Legal relevancy is something which is made declared relevant under Indian Evidence Act. Something made relevant under Indian Evidence Act. This is known as legal, which is legally declared relevant. Anything legally declared relevant. Right. And this, in Indian evidence, this is given under section 5 to 55. From section 5 to 55, this is given. I'm coming upon to the concept. So, when we prove or disprove fact and issue through certain facts, these certain facts is known as relevant facts. The manner through which they are connected to fact and issue, the manner through which the connection is developed, the bond of this fact and issue and relevant fact is known as relevancy. This is a mechanism through which a fact and issue can be proved. Is known as relevancy. It can be two types. Logically, where human mind applies. There can be legal relevancy, where 5 to 55. In Indian Evidence Act, when we come to India, in Indian Evidence Act, we does not recognize logical relevancy. There is no concept of logical relevancy. In India, what is recognized is legal relevancy. First of all, relevancy can be two types, legal and logical. In India, we are not recognized with logical relevancy. How anything is logically relevant, it is not at all important until that is not declared legally relevant. Legally relevant must. So something which is logically relevant is not enough. In India, anything which must be relevant. A fact in India, a fact must be considered as a relevant fact when it is legally relevant. That is, it fall under section 5 to 55 of, or I will say 6 to 55 of Indian Evidence Act. The first thing is clear. The relevancy is a mechanism through which one person tries to prove or disprove the fact in issue or fact in issue. The mechanism through which we prove fact in issue is known as relevancy, and it must be legal relevancy. When I say legal, they must be declared relevant under Indian Evidence Act. And how they are declared under Indian Evidence Act, which is given under section 5. Let us pick up the example. You will understand more detail. Let us pick up the example. For example, yes. Let us pick up the example. A make a confession to police officer. That I killed Mr. Z. Try to understand. What is the logic? If you see logically, this is a confession. This is logical. Logically relevant. Somebody is saying something. It is logically relevant or not? It is logically relevant. My mind says, okay, he have admitted his fact. And if then he has admitted his fact, he must be punished. But what Indian Evidence Act says? What Indian Evidence Act says? Broadly, if you study 25, 26, I'm talking broadly, both police custody and in presence of police officer, you find not allowed. Not allowed. That means not legally relevant. Not legally relevant. They are not legally relevant. Something which is, for example, one more example. Let us take one more example. Mr. A told his lawyer that yes, I did theft. It is I who commit the theft. Yes. This is I who commit the theft. Lawyer want to give evidence against. Want to give evidence against Mr. A. What is logically? Logically, yes, he can. Why? Because Mr. A has told him that I have killed or I have theft. I am the person who is a thief. I have committed the theft. He can told him. But what is happening? Though we seems to be logically relevant, but Indian Evidence Act, this is a privileged communication. It's a privileged communication. It's a privileged communication. That means it is not allowed to reveal. That means lawyer cannot give evidence against his own client. So what I mean to try to say, first of all, a fact. In order to prove fact in issue. So a relevant fact, in order to prove fact in issue, must be legally relevant. It must fall under section 5 to 55. If it is not falling under section 5 to 55, how much logically it is relevant? How much logically it is relevant? It will not be allowed to prove the case. So if I say, suppose this is fact in issue. Suppose this is fact in issue. In order to prove this fact and issue, we need certain facts. We need certain facts. These are facts, certain facts. These are known as relevant facts. Okay. These are relevant facts. So in order to prove this fact in issue, we need certain relevant fact, which all together will come to prove. But out of these relevant facts, only those who are connected to, only those who fall under Indian Evidence Act, that is fall under section 5 to 55, or I will say 6 to 55, will be allowed to prove fact issue. So what is the relevancy? Relevancy is a subjective concept in which the parties are allowed to give the evidence of a certain facts in order to prove fact and issue. But these certain facts cannot any way go beyond Indian Evidence Act provisions 6 to 55 or 5 to 50. Okay. This process, this area of relevancy, this area of facts to which person can. So if you read section 5 of Indian Evidence Act, you will find that parties are allowed to give evidence. Parties are allowed to give evidence. If you read section 5 of Indian Evidence Act, this says parties can give evidence, but only of what facts? Only of relevant facts. Of what relevant facts? Which are legally relevant. This process of proving or disproving of a fact is known as relevancy. Okay, so this is allowed. Only legal relevant facts are allowed. Relevant facts allowed. So this is known as relevancy. This is the mechanism of this is relevancy. One thing is clear. What do you mean by relevancy is clear. So relevancy is a process through which we will prove or disprove the fact. Okay, यानी कि parties are allowed to prove or disprove the fact through certain process only, that is known as relevancy. But another question is now raises: if this is the relevancy, what is the admissibility? This is the second stage. This is the second stage of evidence. So what is the first stage of evidence? The first stage of evidence is party have to prove that he is giving an evidence of relevant fact, which is logically and legally, not only logically, rather it is also legally relevant as per section 5. Once you have proved this, so I have, suppose I ask Mr. X have to prove fact, this fact. This fact have to prove. In order to prove this bigger fact, he may have some smaller facts. F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F7. Yeah, these so many facts. Out of this, only which will be allowed? Only Ayush, it is fact 5 to 55, not 16. Okay. Try to understand. There are so many facts, right? Will it be allowed to give all? No. Out of these, only which are relevant. Suppose these are only relevant. These are the fact declared relevant under section 5 to 55 or 6 to 55. You can say anything. I use 5. In books it is 6. It doesn't matter to me because relevancy and admissibility are defined in 5. So I count 5 also. So try to understand. So first of all, he will not be allowed to give evidence of fact 1, fact 2. Now fact 3, fact 4, fact 5, fact 6, fact 7 are facts which are given relevant under Indian Evidence Act. For example, what do you mean by, for example, they are same transaction? They are same transaction. Second, this is conduct. Suppose this is motive. Suppose this is effect. Suppose this is confession. There are so many facts. There are so many facts. These are the facts. They all are declared relevant. Now, will it be allowed to give all the evidence? All are declared relevant. I have 4 facts with me and all are relevant. So I have these 4 facts which have been circled by me. They all are relevant because they are given under section 5 to 55. So they are declared legally relevant under section 54 to 55. But does it mean that I am allowed to give evidence of all the facts? Answer is no. What this admissibility come into play? Admissibility is a process through which judge will ask the question, through which judge will take or find the connection of particular fact with the fact in issue. This is what. So I have 4 facts, all are declared relevant. But how these relevant facts are going to prove or disprove a fact in issue is known as admissibility. So admissibility is what? Admissibility is the second stage of relevancy where how a particular, now this is the question is how a particular fact, now earlier it was how a particular fact is connected to fact in issue. Relevancy is a question of, it is also a question of how it is connected to fact in issue. But now this is how this fact in issue is going to affected by this relevant fact. So admissibility is also a question of how. But what it is the how? How this relevant fact will prove fact in issue or disprove fact in issue. So mere having a connection with the fact in issue will not affect, will not allow any person to give evidence. So मैंने बोल दिया आके, I came as in a court and I started shouting, this has been declared relevant. So this is a conduct has been declared relevant under section 7, section 8. It is a part of SEN transition declared under section 6. It is a part of TIP declared under section 9. No, how if conduct, if we allow. So the admissibility is a question of allowability. The judge will ask. This is given under section 5 and section 136 of Indian Evidence Act. Admissibility is given under section 5, read with section 136 Indian Evidence Act. It is a prerogative of a judge. It is a prerogative of a judge to ask. Judge will ask the question, how if I allow this relevant? I'm not saying this is not relevant. It will say, I know this is relevant. It is given under Indian Evidence Act. It is a relevant fact. But you tell me how this relevant fact will going to help or will going to prove or disprove your case. And now party have to prove, yes, this is the process I will. Okay. This is known as admissibility. The answer of question as to whether, as to how a particular fact, I will say relevant fact, going to prove or disprove fact in issue. So try to understand. Do not get confused admission with admissibility. Admissibility is a process mechanism, whereas admission is something else. So let us first focus upon this. I will give you 15 minutes to 20 minutes for question answer. I know it's very complicated concept also, but try to understand. Let us make what I want to try to give you. Suppose this is a court. I'm getting a virtual court. This is a judge sitting. This is a judge sitting, and this is your file. Now you have to reach, you have to make certain fact reach to this file. यहाँ पे आना है, डेस्क पे आना है. Anything which has to come in a desk. So this is a fact in issue. Suppose this is a fact in issue. Now what you have to do? You first come to court. This is the first barrier. This is the barrier of relevancy. So when you come to court, first of all, you bring up with a fact. You bring up the fact. So you bring up the fact first, and when you bring up the fact, the first you are bringing up the fact to the court. You are bringing a fact to a court. First of all, you come up with relevancy. Now, once first hurdle of your life will be this, of your practice will be this, you will prove that this fact is being declared relevant under section 5 to 55. Are you clear with my voice right now? Right. So try to understand what I'm saying. First, you prove that the fact which you have brought up to the court, there is a fact which is declared relevant under 5 to 55. If you are able to prove, then you move forward. Suppose so you bring court to so many facts. You prove court so many facts. But which fact will move forward? Only the fact which is relevant. Other two will fail. So suppose this is not declared relevant. Not declared relevant under Indian Evidence Act. This is the fact which is not declared relevant under Indian Evidence. Nor this is the fact which is declared relevant under Indian Evidence Act. So when the fact is not declared relevant under Indian Evidence Act, you will not be allowed. So you cannot move forward. So you will fail here only. So you bring 3 facts. Out of these 3 facts, only 1 fact able to pass. Or I will add 1 more fact. No, let it be 4 facts. Let it be 4 facts. Only 2 fact passes. Out of 4 facts which you brought to the court, only 2 facts pass the test of legal relevancy, that is section 5 to 55. Now the next question arises. Once you made a satisfied to the judge sahab, you make it satisfied to the magistrate that yes, these facts are being declared relevant under Indian Evidence Act. Now you will prove. This is the second barrier. This is known as admissibility. Now you will give the evidence. What evidence you will be giving? Now you will tell the court what? That this fact, how connected to this fact and issue which is lying on his table, how this is connected, how it will prove or disprove the given fact and issue. So how you will prove or disprove the given fact and issue? This is the second stage. Or suppose out of these 2 facts you are able to prove only 1. This will fail here. And this is the last. Only this and this will turn as evidence. Now this is your evidence. The last, third stage. Now this fact will be considered as the evidence for the purpose of your case. So in order to make any fact, relevant fact, an evidence for you, in order to make any relevant fact or any particular fact an evidence for your case, you have to pass these 2 stages. First, the stage of relevancy, and second, the stage of evidence. Oh, admissibility. Then only a particular fact will be considered as an evidence for your case. How many people have understand this concept? How many people have able to understand this? You can now ask me a question, then only I will move forward with two examples. Right. Very good. If it is clear, then it is very, very, very good. Now let us understand. Right. Anyone say, okay, Archana, you have a question? Any person having question can raise the hand right now. Any person having question? Right. Nobody have a question. So we have understand one thing, that relevancy can be two type, legal and logical. But in India, it is not logical relevancy, rather legal relevancy when coupled with logics. Legal plus logical will be allowed. But any fact mere relevant, any fact mere relevant will not become evidence, will not become evidence. In order to become evidence, he must be admissible. And who will decide the admissibility? Judge will decide that. Under section 136. Now, this is the basic difference we have understood. Now, next one small question which I have to ask. That is, what if do judge have a power? Do judge have power to question irrelevant facts? Can judge have a power to ask question about irrelevant fact? Do he have a power that he can ask the questions of irrelevant facts? I have told you. Parties cannot give evidence of irrelevant facts. It is clearly declared under section 5. But do judges also have that power that he cannot allow or he cannot take an evidence of irrelevant fact? The parties are not allowed to give evidence. The party per se cannot come. But yes, judge have power to take evidence of irrelevant fact. The parties cannot give. So we have understand the difference between relevant and irrelevant. Relevant, something which is prove the fact and issue. Irrelevant, which is not at all connected with fact and issue. So parties are not allowed to give evidence of a fact which is not relevant. But yes, still, judge have an authority. It may ask the question of irrelevant facts. But do we have a power to give judgment on the basis of irrelevant facts? Can he give judgment on the basis of irrelevant facts? Answer is no. So he have a power to ask the question, but he cannot give judgment on the basis of irrelevant facts. Okay. Clearly declared under section 165 Indian Evidence Act or 298 CRPC and so many other provisions. There are other provisions also. So this is what we study about relevancy and admissibility. Now you can ask me a question. I give you 10 minutes for question and then we'll close with the session. Any question regarding relevancy and admissibility you feel you should be asking for me. I will close this screen and you can open your cameras so that we can have a chat. You can ask me a question. Can I stop this sharing screen? Thank you. Yes, now you can ask me questions. If you want to ask any question, raise your hand. You have 10 minutes. You can ask me a questions. Just raise your hands and you can open your cameras now. No issue. If you don't have any questions, then we will close them, please. Question is, so if evidence is obtained illegally, in Indian Evidence Act, there is no concept of legality or illegality of the evidence. So you can obtain the evidence illegally, no issue, it is admissible. What is important is this. Important is that the evidence must be declared relevant under Indian Evidence Act. If it is declared relevant somewhere under Indian Evidence Act, firstly. Secondly, that evidence is admissible for that particular fact. That is, judge has decided that yes, this fact will be able to prove or disprove the fact and issue which is in question. Yes, it will be admissible. It does not matter you have taken it by theft, dacoity, robbery, murder, it doesn't matter. That will maybe a different case. You may be charged for theft, you may be charged for dacoity, you may be charged for robbery. But that fact which you have gathered through illegal mediums, it will be admissible. Because in India there is no concept of illegality of evidence. We allow illegal evidences. Any other question? There are so many professors and assistant professors here. In our session, you can ask me the questions. Is the opinion of expert a part of relevant evidence or admissible evidence? Try to understand, Ayush. I'm making it very clear again. Admissibility and relevancies, though are not similar, but they are connected. And a fact which is relevant cannot become evidence until it is admissible. So when you say expert evidence, what is expert evidence? Obviously, firstly, it is a relevant fact because it falls under section 5 to 55, 56. So I have already said anything which fall under section 5 to 55 will be considered as relevant. This is the relevancy period. But does it mean every time expert opinion will be relevant? For example, suppose it is an expert of narco analysis. The narco analysis is relevant because it is an expert opinion under section 45. But it is not admissible because it hit by article 21. So it is not admissible. So obviously, every time you have to check both that. One thing may be relevant but may not be admissible. For one example is expert opinion. So every expert opinion become admissible, not possible. Expert opinion must be of such a nature which will be able to prove that particular fact which is in question. So if it is an expert opinion of DNA in a civil matter, may be allowed, but in a criminal matter may not be allowed. But in a criminal matter which deals with rape, it may be allowed. So it depends upon the facts of the case. Right. Nalini has a question. What is the difference between section 8 and section 14? Does the fact showing a state of mind not include under section 18 are part of motive? Nalini, motive is one state of mind only. Try to understand one thing. Section 6 to section 55 are overlapping sections. It is not necessary that one particular question will fall under, for example, same transition. Or I will pick up the example of section 8, motive. Motive is declared under section 8 relevant, but it does not mean it will not be relevant under section 14 as a state of mind. It may be relevant under the state of mind also, right? So they are overlapping each other, interwoven sections. For example, if I pick up the section of section 6, same transition, conduct is a part of same transition. If you see section 9, proof or disproof of existence or non-existence of fact is somewhere fall under section 9. Section 6 transitions. Similarly, if you say dying declaration also fall under section 6, same transition. So every time it is or dying declaration also fall under conduct. Subsequent conduct, it also fall under there also. So they are overlapping each other. So do not worry about that. They are overlapping sections. Meena, I am unmuting you. You can unmute yourself. Yes, you can ask it.
Yeah, so the question was ki every admissible facts are relevant,
Yes,
and it's not the vice versa, right?
right.
So questions, then how to frame the answers?
Okay. Answer in exam.
Exactly, yeah, in judiciary.
In judiciary.
Yeah.
Basically, when it's coming to judiciary, Meena, normally judiciary, mein, if you are preparing for any state where they can ask substantive question, this question normally come. So you have to answer it differently. So you first always explain relevancy. Once you explain relevancy, then you explain admissibility. Then in conclusion, you tell that it is not necessary that last, that is the concluding line, that it is not necessary that all relevant evidence will be admissible, but it is always necessary that only those facts are admissible which are relevant. Why? Because admissibility is the second stage which come later after the relevancy. So every time one fact have to pass the barrier of relevancy in order to become the admissible, whereas vice versa is not possible, and therefore all facts which are admissible must be relevant, but it is not necessary they must be admissible, right? Next question is uh, Singha Chandra. Can you explain the difference between proved, disproved, and not proved? Of course, I can. But before that, Faisal Masood has asked me section 7 explanation. So I will go for first proved, disproved, and not proved. Then I will go for 7. What do you mean by proving of a fact? Uh, Proved, disproved, or not proved में बहुत minor सा difference है. One difference is this: a fact is known to be proved when there is no, if it is not allowed. Simple सी बात की, I have a fact, I have given evidence of it. What judge will see? If judge put the fact alone in front of him and make that neutral and says, if I not allowed any party to give evidence against it, if I not allowed today at this stage, if I not allowed other party, opponent party to give evidence of this fact, will it be a proved fact? I will satisfied with the assumptions created by the party? Answer is yes. The party have proved this fact. The answer is no. It may not. Answer is not proved. Answer is no. It is not been. No, it is not satisfied. I am not at all satisfied. This is disproved. Fact is being disproved. So proved is situation where judge find that yes, particular party has shifted his burden completely. Then that particular fact has been proved. When party finds, when court judge find that he is into dilemma, that he think there is more requirement to in order to shift the burden, it will be a stage of not proof. I am talking about a particular fact in a relation to 101, 102, 103. Uh, and if judge finds that no, uh, party has totally failed and not satisfied with this, what have evidence has been given, then it will be presumed that it is disproved, right? Next is section 7. Section 7 is a very bigger section, but yet I will read for you. Faisal, I will give us a cursory reading to this, and I explain it just in an open way. Nothing, but I will mark you what is important for this. This is facts which are occasion, cause, and effect, immediate or otherwise, of a relevant fact or fact and issue, or which constitute the state of thing which they happened, or which occurred opportunity for the occurrence is relevant. So basically, if you see section 5 creates, section 7 creates 5 things relevant: occasion, cause, effect, and opportunity. So if you see, what do you mean by occasion? Uh, Occasion, these are interconnected. Very simple. Occasion is what? Shadi hai ghar mein. This is the occasion. So suppose you have a marriage at the home, and uh, somebody looted your house. He has used your occasion, but I know that there is a marriage in the home. So I know there is so much of jewelry in the home. This is an occasion for me. The day I got to know that today is a mehndi and whole, this is a ceremony. There is some ceremony into the family, and family is going out for the ceremony. This occasion has turned into an opportunity, and I entered into this house. I have converted my occasion into cause. I have acted on it, and after acting, I looted the house. The whereabouts after the loot, after the dacoity I have done, is the effect of my act. So this is how they are connected. So occasion, cause, and effect. Right? Any other question? Hopefully you people like this session.